No joke, Donald Trump will have to be removed from the White House by force. But are Americans ready to defend the Constitution and fight back? Welcome to the No Spin Zone. Graphs Grievances starts right now. It's great to be back with you as we kick off our third year covering the most important political news of the day, hopefully offering you the best insight and analysis on the web. I can't thank you enough for your continued support. Your comments, your likes, and views all help me keep this channel going. And with that out of the way, now let's dive into Dictator Watch. As I have repeatedly warned on this channel, Donald Trump is not joking about his plan to never leave the White House, despite the twice-impeached president repeatedly stating in December, January, February, and earlier in March that he plans to pursue a third term. Many journalists and politicos have dismissed Trump as simply teasing his opponents. After all, the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution clearly states that no one can serve more than 2 terms as president. But, as I have said before, since when is Trump a guy that follows the rules? Just this past weekend, Trump reaffirmed his intentions in an interview with NBC News, saying he's, quote, not joking about seeking a third term. He even suggested that there are, quote, methods to circumvent the Constitution. To be clear, the Constitution can only be changed through a rigorous amendment process, which is extremely difficult to pull off. It requires either a 2/3 vote in Congress or a 2/3 majority of states calling for a constitutional convention. And even then, 3/4 of states would need to ratify it. So no, changing the Constitution isn't happening. But once again, and I cannot stress this enough, rules are just suggestions in Trump's mind. The only way to stop him from declaring himself a dictator for life is by confronting Trump with a force greater than the sum of his supporters. And how is that going? Not well. Despite Americans evenly split on Trump's approval, with 50% approving of the job he is doing and 50% disapproving, according to the latest CBS News poll, one after another, a parade of the wealthiest and most elite institutions in America have capitulated to Trump's lawless demands. Major law firms like Paul Weiss and Shaken Arps have pledged millions in pro bono legal services to Trump after he signed unconstitutional executive orders, taking away their ability to defend their clients. One of the country's most storied news networks, ABC News, settling a nonsense defamation lawsuit with Trump for $15 million, money that will go to his future presidential library. And CBS News now appears poised to settle with Trump for millions more in a separate case Trump filed against them because he was upset with an interview 60 Minutes conducted with Vice President Kamala Harris. And if all that weren't enough kowtowing, Columbia University, sitting on a $15 billion endowment, just agreed to 9 policy changes in exchange for Trump unfreezing $400 million in federal funding he unconstitutionally halted from flowing to the Ivy League institution. So, despite Trump's lukewarm response in the polls, the elites are unwilling to challenge him when their own status is threatened. That's why the real fight for freedom must come from everyday Americans standing up to him. And that's exactly what voters in Wisconsin and Florida will have the chance to do Tuesday, April 1st. In Wisconsin, voters will decide who controls the state's Supreme Court, a race that could dramatically impact abortion rights there and the drawing of Wisconsin's congressional maps. With Trump's grip on the state growing, this election is being seen as a referendum on his second term. Trump won Wisconsin by less than a percentage point last November and narrowly lost it in 2020 to Democrat Joe Biden. Trump's biggest benefactor, Elon Musk, already spending $20 million boosting the conservative candidate Brad Schmel, who Trump endorsed. Musk is even handing out $1 million checks to Wisconsinites who sign a petition making this the most expensive judicial race in American history. Meanwhile, in Florida, 2 special elections are happening to replace scandal-ridden Republicans who vacated their seats to join Trump's administration. Voters in Florida's 1st District will choose a replacement for Matt Gaetz, who was forced to drop his bid for Attorney General after serious allegations of rape and sex trafficking resurfaced. In Florida's 6th District, voters will decide who succeeds Mike Waltz, Trump's national security advisor, currently under fire over the revelation he included a journalist on a group text chat to discuss and execute a military strike in Yemen. Despite these districts being heavily Republican, Trump won them by 37 and 30 points respectively. Democrats are cautiously optimistic about pulling off an upset, especially in Florida's 6th. There, Democrat Josh Weil has raised an impressive $10 million, compared to just $1 million for Republican Randy Fine. Even if Republicans win both of these races, the margin of victory will be crucial. A narrow win for Republicans could signal Trump is losing support among his base, a shift that could have big implications for how the GOP governs and handles Trump's agenda in the House. Currently, Republicans hold just 218 seats in the lower chamber, with 4 vacancies, 2 of which are in solidly Democratic districts. All of this means every race, every vote counts. Whatever happens in Wisconsin and Florida, you can count on full analysis and breakdown right here on Wednesday. The bottom line is that the battle for America's future is playing out on multiple fronts, and it's clear that the forces backing Trump are trying to consolidate power at all costs. From elite institutions bending the knee to everyday voters having the chance to push back, the stakes have never been higher. Whether or not Trump is stopped will depend on whether we, as a nation, are willing to rise above the corruption and fight to protect the Constitution. Thank you for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, share, and join me tomorrow for more.